Who's going to go first? Who's got a hot take? The first hot take of 2024. Who we go with?
I have like
Come
so
on.
many of them. I got
come
ready.
on.
The first one, this is the first one. Whoever buys m0nesy is going to be the #1 team in the world. 2024, 2025, doesn't fucking matter whenever he switches teams, right? This guy, ever since the start of CS, has been something else. In terms of fragging, in terms of like, in-game intelligence, in terms of in-game awareness, everything that he does is completely right. You cannot catch him make a mistake. We're talking about AWP being nerfed, AWP being shit, AWP being this. He doesn't feel it at all. He's one and only AWPer who doesn't feel it at all. Obviously, Zaivu is still up there. He has a tremendous rating right now. But the thing is, like, I'm talking about m0nesy, and because I've been watching his games a lot, and we have been playing against them a few times as well. The guy is unstoppable. Like, that's why I'm saying he's the best player in G2 right now. Has been for a while, even since before the beginning of CS2. And whoever gets him, whoever gets him is the team that's going to be the best on. The day I tweeted about.
Does that include if G2 retains him? If G2 keeps him, will they be #1 as well?
No.
He has to move to a different team.
He has to move to a different team, or some things needs to change in G2.
By the way, are you implying that it really is a rumor that maybe he will get sold? Is there rumblings behind the scene he might leave?
The thing is, like, he wanted to go to C9, and everybody knows that. He wanted to go to C9, and then the deal didn't happen. I don't know why. And then you remember that GM was like talking about he's not for sale, whatever. And I think that's the dumbest thing you can say, that somebody is not for sale. And I even tweeted today about like him going to C9 is pretty obvious, and it would be like the proper move to happen for C9. And especially for m0nesy as an individual, because he's going to get to speak his native language rather than English, which will improve his performance by at least 5-10%. Sure. Because he doesn't have to think on English. It will improve Cloud9's performance by 30% because they don't have an AWPer at all. They can get rid of Exile, they can get rid of Hobby, they can pick and choose who they want to replace him with. But if they get him, they will be the #1. Whoever else gets him, FaZe can get him too. He's still going to make them the #1 team in the world instead of Brokey. Anybody can get him. It will, improve their team, right? Obviously, he cannot go to Vitality because of Zaivu or teams like that. But right now, saying that he is not on sale is something unbelievably dumb that you can say. I mean, what are you going to do? If he decides that I'm not going to play for you anymore, I want you to sell me, I'm not going to practice anymore. You think those things don't happen in football? Players don't show up for practice when they want to be sold? They just say, to their agent, I want to be sold, make it happen, right? And teams cannot force you. Like, you can bench yourself, which is a normal thing in today's sports.
If people are missing, I know what you mean, Kassad. The point you're making is this. Obviously, G2 just publicly like, he's not for sale. But what they obviously, what you mean is this. It's not for sale at that price. That's the point Kassad's making. If someone offers you enough, you have to take it, by the way. Like, the obvious example, I've told this one before, Kassad, is obviously my favourite team, Liverpool, is almost certainly going to lose Mohamed Salah to the Saudi League next year, right? Yeah. Here's the thing. As long as they pay like £200 million, I'm okay with it, Kassad, because guess what? We could do a lot with £200 million. So the point is, I agree with you. Everyone's for sale. The question is, do you have enough money? It might be an insanely high buyout, but everyone's for sale, right?
Yeah, the thing is, like, you come up and see, like, your contract is up until what? End of 2025? Let's see your salary. Let's see how much, how many months, what is your current market value? Offer the right price. You think the board of G2 will say no?
I don't think so, personally, especially not in the current crisis.
The GM says, like, oh, he's not for sale. Yeah, don't be stupid, right? On the top of the things, he can just, like I said, he can refuse to play.
He can just demand to leave, yes.
He can just refuse to play. Obviously, I don't know. Some contracts states that if you bench yourself, you get 0 salary, right? Some contracts don't have that thing. We have in our team a clause that if you decide to bench yourself and use this, exploit this, you get 0% money, like 0% salary. Okay. Nothing. You get nothing. Right? If we bench you, you get a certain percentage. Right. Like, it's a pretty standard deal, right? But to avoid this, but he can also do it, right? So what is G2 going to do? Like, are they going to, what? Just going to say, like, okay, sit on a bench, rot there because you're 18 years old? Nothing going to matter to him. He's going to play FPL. He's going to stream. He's going to do whatever. He's going to wait out the contract, run out the clock, get a signing bonus of $500,000 from somebody smart, and G2 will be left with nothing. So those statements, like, he's not for sale, are for people who have 0 brain cells left in their stupid little heads.
By the way, as a quick aside, before I ask Maui, I will just say, If you are someone like the Saudis who wants to invest in esports and buy like a big CS team, you don't understand how much you will get the player you want if instead of paying more for the buyout, wait until there's a bidding war that's close and just tell the player you get 50k signing bonus. I'm not joking. You will get the player you want. Like, you don't know how much that would win them over. As long as the org's cool, they're going to pick you, I tell you.
If I am a shitty agent, not shitty, just weasel, whatever. Doesn't have to be shitty. Maybe that's the wrong word. We have a weasel agent, and like I go, listen, wait up your contract. I'm going to discuss with this team. They're going to give you 200k signing bonus.
Yes.
If you wait it out, because the price of your buyout will drop by $500 million, and they will end up earning 300,000 instead of paying 500,000. Yes. Right? That's how it should work. But G2, they don't understand this. He's not for sale. Yeah, sure. Everybody is for sale, right? On the right price in these fucking esports.
Yes.
And like you said, if the Saudis, who have unlimited, I'll tell you this, they have unlimited money, come up with a price that G2 board has to be presented with, they're just going to say yes. They're just going to say, no, our GM said like we're not selling it for $2 million, right? So we're going to listen to our GM. We're going to refuse $2 million. Yeah, sure. That will happen.
Right, Maui, obviously the original point was, assuming he gets sold, whatever team he goes to, and obviously he did set the content, it can't be, we're assuming he's not getting sold to a bomb team, he's getting sold to a contender potentially, they will be number one. What do you think?
Well, I think that the point's made with the idea that it's going to be one of several teams, so that those teams being FaZe, even Na'Vi, interestingly enough, would be kind of one to me. Like,
no, but Falcons, for example.
Okay, Falcons, I feel like Falcons have too many problems right now for me to think they're going to be number one. But Cloud9 is a really fun one because, I mean, the point I was making forever about Cloud9 and Nafany and how I literally said the main point I made like 2 years ago about Cloud9 was give me Boomage for Nafany, and you almost have that exact switch. But then, hey, you give me m0nesy instead of Shiro. That's not really too much of a downgrade for me. Actually, I think it's an upgrade. I think m0nesy's better than Shiro. So I feel like that would be a super interesting team. If you're talking about just FaZe and Cloud9, yeah, I think they actually can elevate themselves to number one in the world, because I just feel like, well, FaZe is right there knocking at the door already of being number one in the world, and Cloud9, God, I mean, it's a little bit more speculation, but I don't think Falcons though. I don't think if they got m0nesy just for Sunpies.
Let's have this weird scenario, Maui. We have like James leaves VP and he joins Cloud9 to be the IGL there, and then there's a spot in some weird scenario where m0nesy can join VP and they can get an IGL as well instead of Mir. You know, like that's a possibility that would make VP better 10 times as well. Like, and he would get to speak Russian again, like which will improve. He's right now one of the best players, one of the superstars of the game, and probably top 3 player right now. And he speaks English, right? And if he goes there, he's going to improve himself a lot. And this guy is not going. He's the next face of the game. Right now we had Zybus, Nico, a simple device faces of the game. m0nesy is going to be the next face of this game that we play right now. Sorry that I cut you off.
Well, hey, I'm not doubting the fact that m0nesy might just be the next best player. He might even be the number one player of 2024, but I just don't know if, like, I'm just thinking like which constellation would I really imagine being number one in the world, and a FaZe or a Cloud9 move, yes. Other teams I'm a bit more hesitant on.
I would just say, look, it's obviously not my take, so I don't need to have this as my hot take, but I actually think it's a good one in the sense that, like, first of all, not just because he was like a top 4 player or whatever on HLTV. If you were picking players to draft today to build your team to win this year, he would absolutely be within my first 3 or 4 picks. It's obvious that he's just so fucking good. And I also think, actually, the angle that Kazad's put in there is quite another good one, which is, I also do think it does seem obvious that if he went to a team that spoke Russian, it would probably level his game up and make it more comfy. And if he's this good on a team that speaks English and is all multinational, I could actually see him being even better. I think he already is really fucking good. So I think it's a good take. It's a good prediction. See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.